wire fraud and brought here to the federal courthouse in Newark. They say this may be just the beginning. He could face additional charges of money laundering.
You might know him on Instagram as Flippin' NJ, my friend Cesar Pena.
DJ Envy often had his pal, Cesar Pena, on the radio hosts The Breakfast Club show.
Started with no money, and here I am. $50 million later in real estate.
Promoting their real estate partnership. Now, in this federal complaint, the government says Pena engaged in a Ponzi-like scheme involving investors, adding Pena defrauded dozens of victims of millions of dollars. We interviewed many of them.
I lost $200,000.
$835,000 in total.
I lost a total of $64,000.
I lost $1 million.
Envy, whose real name is Rashawn Casey, was not charged, but many of the alleged victims say they were influenced by his celebrity.
He's advertising this all over the radio and on television.
Investors say Pena promised he would rehab and flip distressed properties, many in Patterson, giving a 30% profit within months. Dozens have now filed lawsuits saying they never got any of their investment back. Pena is accused of pocketing $17 million from just 4 properties. As news broke of his arrest, we were interviewing Jeff Robinson, who owns a food truck and car wash in Patterson.
My son was my world, and these people took advantage.
His son, Jeff Jr., tragically died in a car accident 6 months ago, leaving 2 children behind. Jeff Jr. had invested $325,000 with Pena in this Passaic property. The dad says Pena then went dark.
After I buried my son, I called Caesar. Oh, bro, I'm going to meet you. I have text correspondence with Caesar, text messages. Oh, I'm running a little behind. He never met me here. But my main concern is getting what's due to those children. It's not fair. The comfort would be when my grandkids are in position when they have trust accounts with that money that he owes those children.
Pena pleaded not guilty. He has to post a $1 million bond and is being released on electronic monitoring. He cannot leave the state of New Jersey. No comment from DJ Envy. An inside source tells us that the iHeartRadio offices were visited by the feds, who took out electronic equipment as part of this investigation. From Newark, Sarah Wallace, News 4 New York.
And that was on the news. So they allegedly defrauded people in the community out of millions of dollars. This guy ended up getting $17 million. I guess he must have been selling the same house or something over and over again. And this is a really sad state of affairs that we're in. And my condolences go out to all those parties that were affected, especially the elderly brother who lost his son and invested $325,000, because these are hardworking citizens and hardworking people. And allegedly, DJ Envy said that Caesar even stole $500,000 from him. I'm not going to sit here because I don't really know the ins and outs, but I do want to say that we as Black people especially, we have to be very, very careful, because a lot of people target our community specifically, and they do things and try to operate in the name of Black, and they want to call you king and queen and shit, and then they want to take your money. You know what I'm saying? This is what they typically do. And this is just going on. It's going on over and over again. With DJ Envy saying he didn't know, I find it rather ironic, considering they have been operating since 2017. I also find it a little funny that nobody would have reached out to him. Any of those victims, none of those victims DM'd him or commented on this post to say, hey, this fat guy that you bought on the Breakfast Club stole our money. It's really, really sad. I was also a victim of a real estate situation, and I'm still dealing with that now. And that happened years ago when I was young and naive. And I would just tell every person, just make sure you do your due diligence and looking over shit. Get you a book, get Real Estate for Dummies, because all these courses and shit that these niggas teach, you can basically learn it for free on YouTube. You don't need to go meet no nigga on the corner. You don't need to go meet with nobody. You can learn it for free, number one. And number two, you can't get something for nothing. If somebody is offering you a 30% return on your money within a relatively short period of time, that's a Ponzi scheme and you need to run. You need to run away. Because these schemes, if I can offer you 30% on your money, I can offer larger institutions 30% on their money. So why would I even need your money, being that you're from the community? If I can do a 30% return on $20,000, I should be able to do that on $1 billion. So I wouldn't even come to you. So it's very, very, we need to be mindful. And I think one thing with me and my situation, which I still have this home, one thing about me, I just learned from it, moved on, and accepted ownership and accountability for what had happened to me. Because you learn from when you own up to shit, you kind of learn from it. And I'm not blaming the victims, but being a victim myself, I had to really say, yo, I'm gonna eat this, but never again. And that is why I typically run when a nigga calls me a king and all that old shit. And I just feel the scammer vibes, because they're doing this in the name of, unfortunately, in the name of blackness. And blackness now has been used as a marketing term for fucking scammers, where they go, oh, in the community, we got to get together and we got to do the business and we got to do this and we got to do that. And furthermore, in our culture, we hold the subculture up, we behold it and hold it so close to our hearts that here's this guy who was on the Breakfast Club talking about how he was a known and convicted felon. He was a known and convicted felon. And he looks somewhat like a rapper, and it's in the name of hip hop. I don't want to do business with no rapping looking ass nigga. I don't want that. I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do business with a convicted felon. So I would just say to anybody, just really raise an eyebrow, because you're dealing a lot of these guys who were, involved in these frauds, and the list goes on. I don't want to name everybody. They had a guy in Philadelphia, his story, I'm from the streets, I came from jail, and I turned my life around. These are all trigger words. It's just like how pastors pimp the community. It's the same shit. And we get behind these clowns and they end up extracting money from our community, which we don't even have. You see what I'm saying? So we as a community, we gotta get away from that. Like anything you want to learn, you can basically learn it for free online. You do not need to pay the $50 for this damn course. And Envious said in an interview he just wanted to educate or give his people something. And I find that to be ironic, because he was charging people tickets to come to this. And I mean, it's literally like, and we all want to do better as a people, but it's a perpetual, it seems like there's some type of perpetual scamming cycle that's going on right now in the 2023. This is the new hustle. It's not crack, but it's it's the hustle of community, feeling involved, feeling needed, feeling wanted. You know what I'm saying? Because the easiest thing for a person to steal, because in my real estate deal, I'm gonna tell you what went down. When I got out of college, I purchased a home. I met this brother. I purchased a home, and he was like, "Yo, man, I can get you, you know what I mean? For every house, I can get you $30,000 back." I was like, "Cool, I'm green." And I have I'm fresh out of school, green, got my doctorate. All I'm thinking about is that 30 grand. I'm not thinking about the fact that I'm taking out a mortgage and basically loaning this money to myself, which is what happened, because me being Mr. Stupid, I didn't do due diligence. And we ended up overappraising the house. Oh my God. And I'm just kicking the can down the road. He could have, and even at closing, right? I paid for I took the loan. So I paid for everything. He walked off with a profit. I'm left holding the bag. Um, and I was out of school. I had my home, then I had that property, and I'm trying to take care of both. I'm working like crazy. You know what I'm saying? People stealing my HVAC units, and I mean the area was hell. Like it was set in the middle of 3 projects. I'm thinking at that time I could get this huge amount from Section 8 to rent this place out. That wasn't true because Section 8 is typically going to pay you whatever that the average rent is in that area. But I learned a valuable lesson. I mean, I got my ass kicked. I mean, every day it was something with this particular property. And before, when I went to closing on this property, I was supposed to do 10 deals in like months. You know what I'm saying? So I was going to do like 10 houses. And if I would have done that, I would have been 25, 26 years of age, probably in about 1.2 or $1.3 million worth of debt. And I would have had to file bankruptcy, and it would have been horrific. But by the grace of God, something hit collections. I had moved out of my apartment and didn't pay the bill was on auto pay and paid. So it went to collections, and I couldn't do any more deals. And that wasn't nobody but the Lord working for me. But I did learn a valuable lesson. And that lesson is you don't get something for nothing. You're not getting the 200 unit apartment complex with no job and no income. Okay, somebody's gonna get you. Somebody's there to fuck you. That's what they're doing. They're just setting you up, and they're gonna tap that ass. That's literally what's gonna happen. So I would say to everybody going forward, keep your eyes open and don't believe nothing. Just be skeptical. Matter of fact, even Joe Budden had spoke. I think Envy was in an interview. And he said, "Yo, I called everybody. But the only person that said it was a scam and I was gonna go to jail was Joe Budden. And Joe Budden is a Virgo, and I'm a Virgo too, and we're mostly honest and straightforward. Envy happens to be a Virgo as well. I don't know what this is about. On the surface, I want to take his word and say, well, hey, cool, man. You didn't know this guy got over on you for 6 years and you just holding his hand, not getting no money. I guess he wasn't getting no money, and I don't know. Or maybe he was giving him money and Caesar, maybe it was like this. He invested and Caesar gave him the money back since it was a Ponzi scheme. And Caesar being at the top of the Ponzi scheme, and I guess Envy being a duck, allegedly, or being the stupid person, but he is the draw. Like the Breakfast Club and Envy is what's attracting this people to this guy, and they're not asking any questions. I'm guessing maybe Envy, I gave Caesar 100,000. He gave me 130 back. So he was hurrying up paying him while baiting everybody else. The people that were being baited, Caesar was paying Envy with that money. And as they go down the road, more and more people come up under this umbrella. What I found out too with a lot of those real estate seminars, they want to meet people. They want to have those meet and greets, and they want you to come to the corner class because they want to get people, potentially ducks with a high credit score that they can take advantage of, as like myself at that time. High credit score, stable job, and they want to take advantage of you. And this is what is happening. And it's continuously happening. It's perpetually happening. A lot of times people say, well, man, you scared. Like people who come to me with shit, they like, man, you skeptical. How you be hating? They call you a hater. Like when you say, nah, man, I'm good. I'm not doing this, brother. Like you a hater. You just, well, whatever. I'm gonna keep on hating. So that's that.